Hi there, my name is Chris Bunch and I'm from AppScale Systems. Today we'll be doing a demo of how to use AppScale with the Amazon Public Cloud. We'll begin by creating a new directory for the purposes of this demo. Next, we'll use the AppScale command and tell it that we want to create a new configuration file for this deployment. To do so, we run AppScale init and tell it that we want to run on a cloud infrastructure. This creates a configuration file that we then can tailor-make for our particular deployment. So here we say that we want to run on Amazon EC2, we want to use the public AMI that AppScale provides, use m1.large instances, run over the Cassandra data store. We also have to provide specific key names and groups, security groups, to run AppScale with. So we'll pick unique values here and tell it that we want to see as much output as possible to see how our AppScale deployment's doing. Finally, we can also say how many machines we want to run in our AppScale deployment, but for this demo we'll stick with just a single machine. Then, all we have to do to run AppScale is just say AppScale up. And because this can take a little while, we're going to cut away for just a moment. And we're back. So, in the meanwhile, we had one machine that came up, and as we can see, it's got a public IP and a private IP address. It boots up and we copy over all the information that it needs to run AppScale, including our secret key and our cloud access key from EC2 in case more machines need to be scaled up dynamically. Here we tell it to start up all the services we need for our AppScale deployment, so it'll start up Memcache, XMPP services, all that kind of stuff, and in the meanwhile we'll type in an email address and password for our cloud administrator, which in this case will be me. Great. So, with that, our AppScale cloud deployment is complete over at Amazon EC2. Let's continue by deploying a sample application. To deploy an application, all we have to do is type AppScale deploy and then give it the path to our application. So here we use the sample guestbook application that Google App Engine provides and choose to deploy that app. We have to give an administrator for the actual application itself, but that can be me once again. And while our application is starting, the AppScale tools give users a nice pretty status page that you can use to see how your application is doing. So here, we click OK on our self-signed certificate, and we can see how our cloud is doing. We see that all of our APIs are functioning perfectly, and that we are running with the Cassandra database. We have 1x data replication because we only have one node in our cluster, and the guestbook application is loading. If we want to see more specific information for our cloud, we can log in, and then we can go back to the status page and we'll see more specific information. Here we can see the CPU and memory usage of each machine in our cluster, as well as how much hard drive space is in use. Finally, we can also see what our actual nodes are doing in our deployment. So here we only have one machine, so it's a load balancer, it runs the database service, it runs the app servers, and all the other services we need for Google App Engine API support. As we can see from this link here, our application's finally come up, so we can go to it and start posting to it. Hello world. And so here, users don't need to be familiar with how to actually interact with Cassandra, HBase, Hypertable, or the other databases we support. They only need to know how to program to the Google App Engine programming model, and we automatically convert that under the hood. We can then go back to our terminal and we can say AppScale status and see the same status information that we saw before on the web page, but in command line format. Finally, if we want to tear down our AppScale cloud, we can simply type AppScale destroy. And that will go to EC2 and terminate all of the machines we've spawned up and clean up some of the keys and security groups that we've used. And when that happens, we can see our instance has been destroyed, and if we try to access our app via the web page, it no longer is present because the machine has been terminated. So with that, this is a quick demo of how to run AppScale on EC2. Thanks for watching, and please feel free to send us comments or requests for future videos. Thank you.